Hey everyone, it's Argonath here from The Right Way. Got an international story today about the View High School shooting. So this is obviously pretty big in America, but if you're in New Zealand like I am, you probably only saw a very small thing on the TV news, or maybe in one article or a couple of articles in the newspapers about this, but it wasn't very well covered here in New Zealand, because the fact is that the shooter was black, the victim was black, and so obviously it doesn't fit the left-wing narrative that black people are oppressed and they're getting killed by white people. If it was a white person that did it, you can imagine it would have blown up all around the world, even here in New Zealand, and it would have been just massive. But because the shooter was not white, we get hardly anything done. But let's have just in case you don't know, about what happened after the shooting. So basically he shot and killed one person, shot a teacher, and I think two other people who didn't die, thankfully. But let's have a look at the narrative that was brought up about the shooter after he was arrested and the news came out. So there was this narrative has been going around for so long. So straight away it came out, and it was all the way all over the news and everything. The family of Arlington, Texas teenager suspected of injuring 4 people in a school shooting said he had been bullied and was recently robbed. Oh, poor thing. He'd been bullied so much. Of course, bullying goes on, but we'll find out later whether that was actually true or not. The suspect, Timothy George Simpkins, 18, so he was 18, so he's going to be tried as an adult, was arrested Wednesday on 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Authorities said Simpkins, who is accused of opening fire at View High School, turned himself into police following an hours-long manhunt after he fled the school. Simpkins was released Thursday after his family posted a $75,000 bond. So he killed someone, put a bunch of other people into hospital, and he was let out the next day on just a $75,000 bond, and his family is obviously quite well off, so they could pay that. Is this unheard of? If it was a white person, do you think he would have been given bond and be let out the next day? Of course they wouldn't. But it'd be very racist for us to say things like that, right? If we speak the truth, you're called a racist. A 15-year-old boy was critically injured in the shooting and underwent surgery. He later died. And a 25-year-old man was hospitalized, a teacher, and was in good condition. The conditions were not clear Thursday afternoon. A teenage girl who suffered minor injuries was treated and released. A pregnant woman was treated at the school and was not taken to a hospital. Arlington police confirmed 2 of the victims as Zacchaeus Selby and Calvin Pettit. I think Zacchaeus Selby was the 15-year-old kid that was killed, and Calvin Pettit, I believe, was the teacher. Police said the shooting may have begun with a classroom fight, which was caught on video. They did not reveal a possible motive. We're going to get to that. I've got a video that will show us what actually went on. Witnesses told investigators that Simpkins had got into a physical altercation with another boy, according to an arrest affidavit. The witness broke up the fight, and the second boy ultimately gave up and stopped being combative, it said. When the witness turned around to check on Simpkins had produced a firearm. So basically, after the fight, he went to his bag, pulled out his gun, and then shot the guy. Upon seeing the firearm, this witness turned to run out of the classroom. The witness then heard 3 to 4 gunshots. A second witness said that several teachers and coaches intervened and that the fight was broken up. Simpkins went into an orange backpack, pulled out a firearm. So he had a firearm in his bag at school. I don't know how he got that through the school, but we'll see. Cynthia Wheat, Simpkins' cousin, said he had been bullied and was robbed about a week ago by a group of kids. She said that the robbery did not occur on school property, but that View was aware of the bullying. He's not a bad kid. He's never been in trouble, she said in a phone interview on Thursday. He was being bullied and robbed. Never believe the family, because they're never going to tell you the truth, right? They have a vested interest to support this trash person. And so obviously they're going to say anything to try and get him off. He didn't have any other options. In his mind, it's a sad situation, she said. Bullying needs to stop. You can't keep sweeping this under a rug. No, you can pull out a gun and kill someone. No, that's okay. My God. All right, so that's the background news about this. Let's have a look at this video, which is from Fox 7 in Austin, and this will give us the true reason why the trash person shot this kid. They're not both without blame, but it wasn't because of bullying. So let's have a listen.
A North Texas police chief says his investigation determined a recent school shooting had nothing to do with bullying. Weeks later, parents want solutions to prevent this from happening again at View High School.
Well, there we go. So a police chief, after their investigations, has said that it wasn't because of bullying. There must be some other reason. So the family were lying, because we shouldn't believe any family because they have a vested interest. They're biased to the perpetrator, right? So let's have a listen and see what it's all about.
Fox's Stephen Dial is in Arlington with more.
This was not a bullying incident, and I just want to take that narrative out of the equation.
2 weeks after.
Well done, police chief. And before you go, oh, he's just being racist, this is a black police chief. It's not some white dude who's saying this. It's a black police chief. So you can take your racism out of the reason why this is being said as well. So let's carry on.
2 weeks after a Timberview High School student shot 15-year-old Zacchaeus Selby and teacher Calvin Pettit and grazed a teenage girl, Arlington Police Chief Al Jones gave an update on the investigation.
Mr. Simpkin is involved in high-risk activity.
So he's involved in high-risk activity, which is code for he's doing something illegal. And from what I've heard, allegedly he was trafficking, well, not trafficking, but he was dealing in drugs, which probably makes sense because you get drug dealers at high schools and things as well. So he was involved in high-risk activities, air quotes around that.
And that high-risk activity led to the disagreement within the community.
Chief Jones's statement.
So the kid that beat him up probably had something to do with the high-risk activity, which is allegedly drug dealing. And I heard that maybe there was some money stolen at some point, or money wasn't given across or something along those lines has gone ahead. So that kind of what made the fight.
Was a total rebuke of statements made from the suspect, Timothy Simpkins' family, but he did not.
Of course the family is going to say it's bullying because they want to try and get him off, right? Hopefully, I mean, you never know with the left-wing judicial system over in America. We don't know what's going to happen, but I really severely hope he gets a really good sentence, because you killed someone and you are allegedly a drug dealer.
I go into further detail about what type of high-risk behavior Simpkins was allegedly involved in. He would only say Simpkins and Selby had some sort of disagreement outside of school, and that bled into the classroom, leading to a fight and ultimately the shooting. Chief Jones also said he did not believe Simpkins intended to come into the school and shoot multiple students and teachers.
I don't think this incident was an actual school shooting or active shooter.
He also said the aggravated.
Interesting. So basically, it wasn't anything to do with trying to kill a whole bunch of school people. It was the fact that there was a disagreement about something, about the high-risk activities, and then the guy got beat up by this other guy and decided, right, I'm going to kill you, and that's what he did.
Assault charges against Simpkins are appropriate.
We wanted to charge him with the most severe charge that we could.
The announcement came.
That is really good to hear, that they're going for the most severe charge that they can. It looks like possibly murder might not be accessible because it probably wasn't premeditated, although he did bring the gun with him to school, but it'd be hard to prove that he did it just to actually shoot this guy. So yeah, probably murder is not going to be in it, but hopefully some other charge that will get him quite a few years in jail would be good.
Thursday at a town hall meeting to address school safety at Mansfield ISD.
Some of our kids, yes, some of them were scared. Some of them, it was just another day. Why?
You know, we don't need to go on for the rest of that. It's just the parents talking about what they're going to do and the shooting and so on. But you can see that the media went all out on this bullying narrative, but it was completely false, as said by the black police chief, who wouldn't have a vested interest in trying to paint this guy as anything other than the trash human being that he is. And he's involved in high risk activities, which is allegedly something to do with drugs. So we can see that the left-wing narrative just falls apart at that particular point. But you can see how they try and spin it, right? And all the media outlets, all the mainstream media just went all in on that. And, you know, we're starting to get this here in New Zealand as well, where we don't get the full story anymore. And, you know, they just did one kind of story on the news, and then we didn't hear anything about it after that. We didn't hear anything about this in New Zealand. But I came across it, I thought this would be a really good video to make. Anyway, let me know what you think. Love to see your comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, then you're welcome to give me a thumbs down. And hopefully I will catch you in the next video.